People of the internet, welcome to this video, and in this video we'll be discussing why there won't be a GTA 6 anytime soon. Now, there have been some recent rumors going around with GTA 6 development being really bad and really disjointed, and honestly I feel like this just isn't news or even really speculation at this point. This is just an educated guess. Well, a guess at very least, because I'm not very educated. Now, GTA 5 sold spectacularly well. It is still selling, in fact. And GTA 5 is essentially the golden goose that keeps on giving. So why would a company be dumb enough to kill the golden goose? That makes sense. So that is why I feel that is the first reason why GTA 6 won't be selling anytime soon. Because money. Now, does that make sense? No? Well, then welcome to this video. And if you have made it this far, then I guess press the like button, and also a subscription to the channel would be nice. Now, why do I say that there won't be a GTA 6 anytime soon? Well, my reasons are threefold. And the first reason, obviously, which I started with, was that GTA 5 is still selling really well. And when I say GTA 5, I actually mean GTA Online. Because no one buying GTA 5 right now is buying it to really experience the story of Franklin, Michael, and Trevor. No, they are buying it because they care about GTA Online and they want the flying cars, the flying bikes, and the orbital cannon and shit like that. Now, there is a wonderful video made by Dark Space which essentially goes into the way GTA Online has been progressing, what is right with it, what is wrong with it, everything, and I would really recommend that you check out that video because a lot of what I'm going to say in this particular section is a little bit derived from that. So I wanted to make that clear before moving. Now, I have no connection, nor have I really asked permission, so I'm not going to include any footage from that video. I'm just going to link that video in the description down below. And now back to my point in hand. Now, this game is really catering towards a very different audience than what GTA 5 initially catered towards, or games like GTA 4 or any game like that. Now, even though kids played GTA games for as long as those games have existed. Like, I started playing GTA San Andreas when I was still a kid, and it honestly showed me a few things it really shouldn't have. But the point is, right now, the games are not really what they used to be. Like, GTA Online right now is in an identity crisis. Because if you look at the GTA games up until GTA 5, that is like GTA 4 or even GTA 5, they have been about, the criminal life, the heists and stuff like that, about how criminals do things and stuff like that. But right now, that's not what GTA is anymore. It's not about, it's still about being a criminal because, hey, the amount of crimes is just huge. But if you look at the heist, like you're saving the world, this has essentially become like the Fast and Furious of video games. Because the stuff that you do is so ridiculous given the context of where you're doing it, that it pulls you out of the experience. Unless you're all in to the experience. Now, I'm not saying that grown men don't enjoy flying bikes or flying cars. It is a good hook, okay? It's fun. I'm not saying it's not fun. I'm not saying that it's only the kids that enjoy these things. But if you look at the general direction that GTA Online has been going towards, it is very clear that it's essentially all about the kids. Because that is the target demographic. Because Rockstar knows that is a demographic that will spend more money in their games because they are gullible enough. You know, one of the reasons why I think Red Dead Online isn't getting as much content as GTA 5 is not because it's not performing. Because a game won't perform if you literally do nothing about it. Like, a game has to have some content for people to come play it. If you don't add content, you can't then turn around and say that, hey, it's underperforming and that is why we are not focusing on it. No, it's not performing because you're not focusing on it. Now, the reason why I don't think a lot of people are the reason why I think Rockstar isn't really bothered about Red Dead Online is because, in general, the audience that Red Dead Redemption 2 is going for is a lot more mature than the audience of Grand Theft Auto. And that is by design. GTA is played by everyone. It can be played by pretty much every age group. Everyone can have fun in it. But Red Dead Redemption 2, or with in extension Red Dead Online, there are limitations about the kind of demographic that it will speak to. Now, I personally am in that demographic, but I can understand if a lot of the younger audience will not enjoy the game because it is not as fast paced and it is not as flashy, and you are not stealing cars or driving really supercars and stuff like that. So I can understand that. And I'm not really knocking Rockstar over here because they are targeting to their audience. I'm just saying that because of this obvious focus, it doesn't make sense to release a GTA 6, and I would explain my reasons even further when I get to some other points. Like, this is one of the reasons. I'll explain why I feel like this is something Rockstar shouldn't do because of some other reasons. Now, the second reason, I believe, is that Rockstar has no interest in a narrative. Now, you might be saying that once again, Red Dead Redemption 2 literally exists, and yes, it does. But you also have to understand that by the time GTA Online really took off and really became this huge mega thing, Red Dead Redemption 2 was already deep into development. So it didn't make sense for them to cancel that project or delay that project. Because it's already deep into development, it was going to come out anyway, so they just released the game. But the lack of support that Red Dead Redemption 2 has had ever since really should show you that Rockstar does not give a flying fuck about the stories that's in their games. Because here is another article that I will link down in the description below, but obviously you can see it on your screen right now, and that is the GTA Online update article, which is from December 9th, 2013. And if you look closely into this article, you may see some things. Now, of course, there's the deathmatch, race creators, and all that stuff. But if you go scrolling down, suddenly you see GTA 5 story mode updates. For those ready to jump back into the story of Grand Theft Auto 5, we have big plans for substantial additions in 2014, continuing Michael Franklin and Trevor's action, mayhem, and unexpected adventures in southern San Andreas. They said they had big plans in 2014. We are currently in 2021 and I'm yet to see any of these substantial additions, as Rockstar calls them. So not only did they not do anything with Red Dead Redemption 2, they actively broke the promise that they did make, because they did promise that article still exists to this day. Like, they didn't even have the sense to remove this article. This still exists to this day. So yeah, and if you look at this and you still think that Rockstar cares about putting stories in their games, I don't know what to say to you. I don't know what to tell you, because this should really show you how much they care about their games. Now, another problem, and that is something that I'm carrying over from the first point that I made, is where would the story even go? Now, I've said that, in trying to cater towards a younger generation of audience, GTA Online has become this, very over the top, ridiculous in aesthetic, sort of with the flying cars and the flying bikes, with the target locking missiles and all that stuff. It has really become more of a parody of itself. Like, yeah, GTA made fun of, Saints Row for doing it. People made fun of Saints Row for, parodying and all that stuff. But now GTA Online has essentially become a parody of Grand Theft Auto. So now where do we go from here? Where would the story even go? Where would the world even go? Because you have to consider the fact that most of GTA Online, most of these flying cars and stuff are existing while Trevor, Michael and Franklin are still running around in the world of GTA 5. So they essentially want to say all these things already existed in the world of GTA 5, in the story mode of GTA 5, even though they don't actually do. So now when you release a GTA 6, you have a dilemma. What do you do with the story of GTA 6? There are two ways to go. A, you can make the GTA games like they used to be, like with what GTA 5 did, or with a more grittier story of GTA 4, or with a story like GTA San Andreas. You can do that. But if you do that, then you will lose a chunk of the audience that are currently playing GTA Online. Because yes, they will buy your games day one because, hey, it's GTA 6, it's the new thing in the franchise. But they won't play it for long. They won't play your narrative experience, because why would they? Because they are playing the games for the flying cars, for the flying bikes. They are not playing the game for the story of three criminals or one criminal going around his business. Because it won't be as ridiculous as over the top, and it really doesn't speak to them. And the other thing that you can do is just take the franchise in a completely new direction, where essentially you make it Saints Row. And with that comes its own problems. Now you are alienating a lot of the fan base who originally played these GTA games. Like I've played every single one of the GTA games. And if I see that GTA 6 is coming out and has like flying cars and stuff like that, it's set in the future or something like that, I would take that with a grain of salt. I would consider that maybe that is not a game for me. And I'm sure there are a lot of people who are in that boat. So with this divide that they have created with GTA Online and the GTA 5's main base game, they have created a huge problem for themselves in that they cannot please anyone. Because the moment you go in one direction, you're going to piss off the others. And that is something that will happen. And especially with how the gaming landscape is right now, this is more than prevalent right now. The moment you go into one direction, the other part of the fan base is going to be pissed off. A huge example of this is Assassin's Creed. Now, I'm bringing up Assassin's Creed because I'm a huge fan. That's really most of what I do in this channel. But the thing that happened with that game is that they completely abandoned what made those games in the first place in order to chase current market trends. They saw that the RPG stuff is doing really well, so essentially they made a discount Witcher 3. And that pissed off a lot of people. But that also brought in a lot of the new fan base into these games. And now they are stuck in a place where if they go back to the older style of the games, this newer fan base who have bought their newer games, they won't like those older games. But then the older fan base won't like the newer games. This is something that is happening with many franchises, and GTA currently is going to suffer with this. So from that standpoint, suddenly it makes sense for Rockstar to wait and see what their majority of the player base is, or at least wait so that people start forgetting about their older Grand Theft Auto games, so that they can really push this new style of GTA games, so that not many people will complain about the older ones. And now the third reason, which is sort of exists separate from these two reasons, but is still a huge reason in itself, is that just like Hollywood and pretty much all the other, film industries, like even Bollywood, apne idhar bhi aise hi ho raha hai. With all these industries, they have discovered that, you know what, we don't need to make new stuff. All we need to do is just make the old stuff again. And just like that, the gaming industry is heading down that path. We have seen in the last 2 years that some of the most successful games were remakes. Like we had the Demon's Souls remake, we had the Resident Evil remakes, which by the way, were excellent games on their own right. Now we are seeing GTA releasing their own remastered trilogy. We have the announced but absolutely hated GTA enhanced and expanded. We have the RDR rumor going on. We have a lot of these things where all these companies are just updating their old games so that, they can just double dip into the money market. We have, I don't know how many releases for Skyrim at this point. So yeah, with the way the industry is going, they are trying to, give some space between their mainline franchises and try to make more remakes and remasters because they take lesser amount of effort mostly. Like for games like Resident Evil 2 or 3, those are games that they had to build from scratch pretty much. So those take a lot of time. But for games like GTA Trilogy Remastered or the other remasters like Assassin's Creed has done with its Ezio Trilogy Remastered and all that stuff, those don't take as much effort because you already have half of your work done from before. So when you look at that, when you look at the way these franchises are trending, it makes more sense for them to just remaster all the older games, release all the older games like with 2 or 3 years in between, and they can take all that time to release these older games so that the people who like those older games still have something to play, and then they can just release GTA 6 the way they wanted to. So it makes sense for Rockstar not to release a GTA 6 in the current market. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if there is no GTA 6 in this console generation. I can see them doing this. I can see them just keep releasing remasters or remakes, and then after this generation is done, in the next generation with the PlayStation 6 or with the Xbox, I don't know what the fuck they are going to call their Xboxes anymore. Maybe they'll release the GTA 6 then, because at that point, GTA 5 will become a distant memory and suddenly GTA 6 would be heavily anticipated, and they can do whatever the hell they want with it. But that is what I feel. I feel like currently with the way the market is going, I feel like this is the direction that pretty much every company is headed towards. And I might be wrong on that. I might be right on that. The only way to know really is to, pick the brains of the people who are heading Rockstar. But obviously I can't do that because I'm a no one. But yeah, that's what I feel. But what do you feel? Do you think like we can get a GTA 6 anytime soon? I would love to. I would love to be proven wrong on this. Because why wouldn't I want a new GTA 6? I love the franchise. But I just don't feel like that's going to happen. So yeah, do let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. If you like this video, then press that like button. If you didn't like it, well, the dislike button exists. But I would much rather have you not press that because that would be bad. That would make me sad. And also do subscribe to my channel for more content because I would be putting out a lot more content, especially in this month because my god, there is a lot of games coming out. So yeah, all that said, I will leave you guys in peace.